The best fantasy books transport readers easily into the magic, and that's exactly how you're going to get readers sucked into your book, even with a low magic system. But if your magic is subtle, rare, or almost mythical, you need to make sure you understand exactly how to use this kind of magic system effectively. So how do you do that? What's the best way to pull readers into your subtle magical world? Well, that's what I'm going to share with you right now by applying my 3 keys to enchant your readers to your low magic system story. First, let's quickly clarify what I mean by a low magic system. This type of magic is subtle, rare, and often mysterious. In your story's world, magic might exist on society's fringes, hidden away, secretive, considered dangerous, or even dismissed entirely as superstition or myth. Maybe magic users hide underground, like in Jim Butcher's Dresden Files. Perhaps society tries to rationalize magic through science, never quite grasping its deeper truth, similar to the world outside of the remote island of Kekon in Fondalee's Jade City. Or maybe your magic is a small remnant from what could have been a high magic world, a faded echo of ancient, once powerful enchantments, as we see in Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy. But just because your story's world may mostly dismiss it, doesn't mean you can. The world building was weak isn't something you want to read in your reviews. You still need to put in the work to make it a solid system. Putting off shoring up your magic system details doesn't mean you automatically have a low magic system and can call it good. I see you, pantsers. But planners aren't off the hook either. A low magic system needs just as much, if not more, attention than a high magic system. Case in point might kind of be Narnia's high magic. Whether your magic is harder or softer. Ultimately, to truly immerse readers in your subtler or more hidden magic, you're going to need some intricate world building that weaves the magic into the story and story's purpose quite firmly, despite the edge of mystery around it. So I'm going to guide you through exactly how to do this by applying my 3 keys to enchant your readers: expectations, enlightenment, and experience. By using these keys specifically to strengthen your low magic system, you'll pull readers deeper into your story world and keep them enchanted page after page. The first key, the key of expectations, is all about intentionally setting promises in your story that align with readers' subconscious desires and expectations for your genre. This means that when a reader is browsing the fantasy section, they're gonna expect something that, well, feels like fantasy, or promises the supernatural in those first few lines they skim. This is crucial to know for your low magic system story especially. Even though your magic might be subtle or scarce, your readers still need to know it's there, and more importantly, they need to know it has a purpose beyond just meeting genre conventions. This expectations key also relates to the structure of your story and hitting certain beats readers expect. For your magic system, this means making sure your readers can intuitively grasp its limits too. I covered more about that in my previous video on high magic mistakes, but this part applies to low magic systems too. Even on its own, low magic is usually a strong immediate hook. Low magic naturally signals intrigue, subtlety, secrecy, and suspense. And that's perfect for compelling storytelling. So learn how to use it intentionally to maximize that effect. How can you do that? Here are a couple specific strategies to set reader expectations clearly and effectively. First, you need to signal the scarcity, rarity, or misunderstood nature of magic early on in your story, and do this firmly through your point of view character's perspective. Readers should immediately sense how magic impacts that character's world. Is your protagonist skeptical of magic's existence, frightened by whispered myths, or deeply curious about unexplained events? Show readers these emotions up front, and you set the right expectations about how magic will influence your narrative. This subtle signaling works wonders because it primes readers subconsciously to anticipate magic without ever fully revealing it until the perfect narrative moment. One of the authors in my Enchant Your Readers program was having a hard time setting the fantasy genre promise for readers with her low magic system. It's revealed slowly in her story, so we adjusted her approach. From some of the very first lines, we built in clues for the genre through these strange, inexplicable things happening. Think of it as similar to how J.K. Rowling sets up hints of magic in Harry Potter well before the iconic "You're a wizard" line. This way, we could still make sure she set up the right reader expectation, even though the full reveal of what was behind the supernatural events didn't occur until later. By doing this, she clearly and intentionally set reader expectations. Readers sensed something supernatural brewing beneath the surface, even though they didn't yet know exactly what it was. As a byproduct, this created anticipation and kept readers hooked to find out what was causing these strange events. Here's something practical you can do to set the low magic promise in your own story. Craft one subtle promise of the mysterious right in your story's opening. You could work in a societal myth about a hidden magical power, or have your in-the-know protagonist scoff at those who only think it's a myth. You could share a whispered legend from fearful townsfolk, or show your protagonist suspiciously reacting to something they can't quite explain. Do this, and readers will instantly feel compelled to uncover the magical truth right alongside your characters. The Key of Enlightenment addresses how readers subconsciously want to learn something deeper from your story's thematic truths, gaining insight about this truth through your character's arc of change. This is super important because this arc for your character is what you need to craft any magical system you incorporate into your novel to serve. Think about it like this. Your low magic system should directly, or perhaps metaphorically, challenge, support, enhance, or highlight this deeper thing you're really trying to say through your novel. That means magic isn't just there for aesthetic appeal or to fulfill genre expectations. It exists to shape your protagonist's journey toward greater enlightenment. What might this look like practically in your story? Perhaps your protagonist's enlightenment comes through discovering or mastering this subtle or rare magic. Perhaps they're rebelling against oppressive powers who carefully control and ration magic as a scarce resource or even currency. Maybe they find themselves dabbling dangerously with unpredictable magical arts for noble reasons that quickly turn corrupt. Or it could be deeply nostalgic as they grapple with what it truly means to be the last of a magical kind. In low magic systems specifically, powerful themes naturally emerge around hidden knowledge, prejudice, fear of the unknown, control, class divides, lost wisdom, and forgotten power. You can deliberately leverage societal misunderstandings or scholarly misconceptions about magic to illuminate thematic truths. What's lost? What's misunderstood or corrupted? Most importantly, your characters' experiences with magic should always heighten their own journey toward these truths they need to learn, sometimes pushing them forward, other times holding them back, depending on their decisions. Let me illustrate this with an example from an author I coached. In her fantasy novel, magic is treated as a tightly controlled currency. Her protagonist is desperate. She doesn't have enough magic currency to heal her mother or pay crushing taxes that would save her family from ruin. When circumstances practically force her into a violent magical competition offering immense magical wealth, she basically has no choice but to enter, despite deeply abhorring violence of any kind. Through her arc of change, the protagonist needs to learn when fighting for something is necessary rather than always cowering or avoiding conflict. But there's a catch. The competition's winner will receive a dangerously powerful object, one that could easily become a catastrophic weapon. By intentionally aligning the magic system's nature directly to the protagonist's arc of change, the author created juicy narrative tension. It forces the protagonist and readers to wrestle deeply with fears, beliefs, and ultimately recognize the difference between what she thought she wanted versus what she truly needed. Here's exactly how you can use this insight practically for your own low magic system. First, clearly identify the core thematic truth your protagonist needs to learn. Pinpoint precisely what mistaken belief they currently hold and note their biggest fears surrounding it. Next, and this is crucial, craft or adjust your low magic system to specifically and probably rather painfully force your protagonist to grapple directly with these fears and the truth. Allow the nature of your magic and the way it affects your story's world to actively challenge your protagonist's core misconceptions, nudging or even shoving them toward necessary growth and insight. Do this and you'll deepen your thematic resonance so your story has a lasting impact on readers. The key of experience is all about portaling readers into a deeply immersive world and powerful emotional journey. And here's the key insight you need when applying this to your low magic system specifically. Your magic comes alive through your character's lens. Your readers experience magic most powerfully, not because you explain it, but because your characters show it to them vividly and emotionally in the actual events and emotional beats of the story. Low magic enhances emotional intensity precisely because it's scarce, risky, misunderstood, or hidden. Its subtle or charged nature means each appearance can be carefully crafted to intensify reader experience, pulling readers deeper into the emotional and thematic heart of your story. The real power here is in using these instances of magic in your story to heighten the emotional stakes, tying each directly to your character's internal struggles, transformations, and relationships. Here's how you can put this into practice on a scene level. First, tie your low magic directly to your protagonist's personal journey and deepest emotional struggles. Leverage magic's scarcity or secret nature to heighten the emotional payoff. In each instance, something should change internally or externally for your character, raising stakes, creating tension, or prompting breakthroughs. Let me follow my own advice and show you what I mean through an example. One author in Enchant Your Readers was writing a protagonist who loses control whenever he uses his incredibly rare abilities. He fears them and doesn't understand them. So he fights hard to suppress his powers and maintain absolute control by tightly controlling every other aspect of his life too. Yet it wasn't until one fateful coaching session with this author that we made a breakthrough about the truth this character needed to learn, that we could put all that tension to use in a truly transformative experience on the page. And then that climax when the protagonist is finally able to let go of that control to suppress his abilities. He actually gains control in another way by being aware of his power and how he's using it. This conscious use of suppressed magic at a critical emotional climax, after a long buildup of internal conflict, delivered intense catharsis and an unforgettable immersive reader experience. Now, here's your actionable tip to create the same kind of unforgettable emotional experience. Identify one emotionally charged scene where your subtle fringe magic can get deeply personal for your protagonist, dramatically shifting their internal or external stakes. Intentionally emphasize the emotional, physical, or relational consequences. Let your magic's mystery or risk intensify these stakes, making readers vividly feel the transformative impact. For additional clarity and some great examples of these keys in action, look at these published novels. In Jade City by Fonda Lee, scarce magic is a carefully controlled resource intricately tied to family, power, and duty. deepening emotional stakes. The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher hides magic beneath modern society's surface, amplifying emotional tension through secrecy and societal blindness. And in Robin Hobb's Farseer trilogy, remnants of ancient magic amplify intense emotions around loss, stigma, prejudice, and eventual rediscovery, heightening reader immersion and emotional resonance. Using these 3 keys to Reader Enchantment ensures your low magic system deeply hooks readers and provides payoff that leaves them in awe. But that's only half of the magic system creation process. Don't ruin all this hard work with any of the huge magic system fails that you can still run into. So I want to share with you what those critical failures are so you can avoid them in this video that's on your screen next.